Hello students, in the last class we have discussed about solar energy and a device which utilizes the solar energy, that was solar cooker. In solar cooker we have discussed two types. Now we will be discussing about solar cells. Solar cells are the devices which convert solar energy directly to electricity. Though they convert sunlight directly to electricity, as we have discussed that sunlight is renewable. Means this device utilizes the renewable source of energy to make electricity. But still it is not commonly used device because of its cost. Solar cells are very expensive as they are made up of pure semiconducting material. The material that is used to make solar cells is pure silicon chip. The process due to which the sunlight is converted to electricity is photovoltaic effect. In photovoltaic effect, whenever solar radiations strikes or are made to incident on any sensitive material, then it directly results in the flow of electrons. And whenever there is a flow of electrons, there is current. So this is how, or by this effect, solar cells convert directly sunlight into electricity. Now we will discuss about that how semiconductors are used to make these cells and what are the semiconductors. Semiconductors are the materials which have their properties which lie in between metals and insulators. Means these materials have conductivity, but that conductivity is dependent of temperature. So these are the substances which have low electrical conductivity. But low electrical conductivity is shown only under some ordinary conditions. But as the conditions are changed according to the material, they show a good conductivity as metals. In semiconductors, we have two classes of these materials. These classes are classified as intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors are the semiconductors which are pure. For example, we can take silicon, germanium. These are the materials which show the semiconducting behavior as their own with their originality. Means they are pure materials. No impurities are added. And in extrinsic semiconductors, impurities are added to make them to show the properties which make them relevant to the semiconductors. And the process by which the impurities are added is known as doping. while the impurities are known as dopants. Means in extrinsic semiconductors, impurities are added to increase their conductivity. Now, on the basis of the impurities added, these are again classified into two categories: N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. As we know that N stands for negative, so in N-type semiconductor, electrons which possess negative charge are more in number, while in P-type semiconductor, P stands for positive, so in P-type semiconductor, holes are more in number. Holes is simply the deficiency of electron. Means if we have a perfect crystal and in that crystal if any electron loses its site, means any electron loses its place, then there will be a deficiency of electron in that particular site. That deficiency of electron is known as hole. It is virtual, it's not realistic particle. So in p-type semiconductor, electrons are more, so the conductivity which we are talking will be just due to the electrons. But in case of p-type semiconductor, as holes are more in number, so the conductivity is due to holes. In n-type semiconductor, always if we talk of doping, means the impurities, always pentavalent impurities are added. Means the impurities which are added should have valency of 5. Means there should be 5 electrons in their last shell. So whenever pentavalent impurities are added to any pure material to increase its conductivity, then it would result in N-type semiconductor where electrons are more, and due to more electrons they will show the conductivity. In pentavalent we can take example of phosphorus, while in p-type semiconductor trivalent impurities are added. Means any material which is having the valency of 3, means in last shell it should have 3 electrons. For example, aluminium. So these are the two types of the semiconductors which are impure, means impurities are added to them. So whenever the solar radiations fall on these materials, they show the conductivity as their electron conductivity increases due to solar radiations. Now we will discuss about that how the solar cells which are made up of this semiconducting material shows the conductivity, how it conducts electricity. As we discussed that solar cells are made up of semiconductors like silicon or germanium. So its conductivity increases as the light radiations fall on them. But if we consider that the material is impure, means it is doped with some impurities, then the semiconducting material which is having impurities will, whenever the light falls on that impure material, then a potential difference will be developed across the two regions of the semiconductor. This potential difference which is developed may range from 0.4 to 0.5 volts, which can generate a current of approximately 60 milliampere. Now, if we join these solar cells, means we have solar cells. Now if they are combined together in a definite pattern, then the potential difference which is created in a single solar cell would be higher. So the current will also be higher. So the device which is created by combining the solar cells in a definite pattern is known as solar cell pattern. So we can define it as so the solar cell panel would have increment of potential that is developed, and this increment in potential would result in high current generation. Now these solar cells also have a wide application also. These solar cells are used to produce electricity in artificial satellites or in space designs. Nowadays, these solar cells are also used in traffic signals or for operating water pumps or for running radio, television sets in remote areas where the supply of electricity is not regular or not continuous. Nowadays, they are also used in electronic watches and calculators also. So these are some uses of solar cell, but these are also accompanied with advantages and disadvantages. So we will discuss that how these solar cells are advantageous to us. Its foremost advantage is that it utilizes the renewable source of energy and produces electricity. And it does not possess any problem of diffused radiations. Means while studying solar cookers, we have some devices which concentrate the solar energy to a single point. But in these cells, we do not have or we do not take any such apparatus to concentrate a light to a single point. Means these are the cells which can also work when there is a diffused radiation. And last, they do not cause any pollution. Though they are costly, but they have advantages too. Now we will discuss about its disadvantages. Its foremost advantage is that, as we have discussed, that these are very costly. So these are very expensive, and as we said that these are the devices which convert sunlight into electricity. So these devices are efficient, but they produce DC. Means there should be a device which should convert DC to AC, because the commonly used that we use in our houses is AC. So this is the disadvantage of this device, that it produces DC, which again increases its cost, as we must be needing some device which would convert DC to AC. So these are some devices which utilizes solar energy. Now we would discuss about the wind energy. Moving air. Whenever the air moves, that moving air is known as wind. As we have discussed in the types of energy, that any object which moves have kinetic energy. So whenever the air is moving, then too that the air must be having the kinetic energy. So the wind also has the ability of performing some mechanical work, because we said that the energy is there, that is kinetic energy. So energy is the ability to do work. So that wind should be able to do some mechanical work. So this energy is used for some purposes also. Means we have discussed in solar energy that there are some devices. Similarly, there are also some devices which utilizes wind energy. So now we will discuss that how solar energy that is responsible for blowing wind. Whenever the sun rays fall on the whole earth's surface, the intensity of sun is much stronger. Means as we see that whenever the solar energy reaches to earth, its intensity is high enough. So due to that intensity of the sunlight, the air near the equatorial region becomes quite hot, because it receives the maximum amount of infrared rays, and infrared rays are the heat content. Due to that, they become very hot. As the hot air is lighter, so it rises upwards. But the cooler air from the polar regions of the earth start flowing towards the equatorial region of the earth. As there is no earth, because there was existing the hot air which has risen upwards to fill that space, these are moving there. So in this way, air flows from high pressure to low pressure regions of the earth. This flow of air from one place to another due to difference in pressure causes the movement of air, and this movement of air is known as wind. But this energy also have some advantages and some disadvantages. Now we will discuss about the advantages which this wind, air or wind energy possesses. Its foremost advantage is that it is a renewable source of energy. Being renewable source of energy, it won't be exhausted. It is everlasting. It is available to us in a free of cost. Means for the wind energy, no one pays the bill like electricity bill or water bill. It is free of cost. And it do not cause any pollution. Advantages are always accompanied with disadvantages. So this energy have disadvantages also. Its foremost disadvantage is that it is not available at all the time. As we have discussed in solar energy, that the solar cooker cannot be used during night time, because at that time solar energy is not available. Similarly is the case in the wind energy. Means the devices can be utilized, but there should be wind. So whenever there is no wind, those devices cannot be used. So it is a disadvantage that it is not available all the time. The devices which are designed for wind energy are also dependent on the speed of wind. So whenever there is a change in speed, there is a fluctuation in their working, in their efficiency also. So it is also a kind of a disadvantage that this wind speed varies from time to time and from place to place. And the last, that it is not predictable, means we cannot predict that the wind is going to come or wind is going to over. It's a natural phenomena. So this was the brief knowledge about the wind energy.